Okay, today we will start with module 2. In module 1, we have learned about the basic uh, things related to electrical engineering, the construction of DC machine, and mostly about generators. That is, working principle of generators, different types of generators with their circuit diagrams, the related equations. Then in module 1 again we learned about armature reaction, the effect of armature reaction and how to rectify or how to compensate for this armature reaction. In the second module mostly we will be learning about DC motors, that is the working principle of DC motor, then types of DC motors, application of DC motors, and we will learn about the very important mechanical terms associated with the motors, that is speed, torque, and again we will learn about the characteristics of different types of DC motors, that is how the speed and torque are related, what is the relation between speed and current, torque and current, speed and torque. Okay, all these things we will discuss. Again in the case of motor, the one of the very important thing is how to start the motor. So what are the initial conditions to be maintained while starting a motor? There we will learn about the different types of starters, that is 3-point starter, 4-point starter, etc. Okay, and after completing the theory part, we will work out some numerical problems also. Okay, so you have to be very, you have to understand clearly the type, each type of motor you have to understand very clearly, that is how exactly it is functioning. Okay, so we will start with the first session, that is the working principle of a DC motor. So motor, you know what is motor. Motor is nothing, it is a electrical machine which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy, right? Whereas a generator, it is the other way, that is it converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Construction wise both are same. The only thing is the principle or the way the both the generator and motor work, that is the working principle is entirely different, only the construction is the same. Okay, now if you see the motor, you can see that suppose just think about the motor which we are using at home for pumping purpose. So where do we keep it? We don't keep it in air conditioned room or anything like that, right? It is so, the thing is that this motor, they have to work in conditions of dampness, dirt and fumes and so many other conditions it has to face. So it has to be manufactured in such a way that it can withstand all these conditions. Okay. Okay, now moving on to the principle. The principle of a DC motor is very simple. That is, if a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will experience a mechanical force. Okay, so everything is based on flux, magnetic field, and electric field. This is what I have explained in the first lecture. That is, all electrical machines depends on electromagnetic system. So here also same thing, that is current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will experience a force, and if force is there, what will happen? The conductor will move. And how can you determine the direction? That direction is given by Fleming's left hand rule. Okay, so very simple, right? When a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, it will move or it will generate a mechanical motion. And what about the force that is experienced by this conductor? There is an equation for finding the force. That force is given by F is equal to magnetic flux density B into the current flowing through the conductor, that is IC, into length of the conductor LC. So this will give the magnitude of the force experienced by the conductor. What about the direction of the force? For that we will use Fleming's left hand rule. From using Fleming's left hand rule, we can find the direction of the force. Okay, now already we have learned that is flux density is measured in Tesla, and you know current in amperes and length in meters. So this is the basic principle of DC motor, but we will further analyze the working. Okay, here you can see the field poles, north and south poles, and of course here we will be keeping some conductors. Okay, that you call it as field windings. Okay, in both poles we will be keeping some field windings which will produce what you call as flux, right? Here you can see this is the flux. Okay, now next what you're doing is you are moving a coil. You can see the coil. Okay, it has two sides, right? One is blue side and the other one is the pink side. So two conductors form two sides of the coil. Okay, The side of the coil is what you call as conductor. Now here the difference is when you compare it to the DC generator, here you can see you are providing a supply to the motor, right? So current will start flowing from here. If you see here, see current starts flowing from the input side, then it will enter into the brushes. From the brushes, it will go to the commutator segment. Here you can see the commutator segment. This is the commutator segment. And from there, it will move to the conductor, see? Like that it will flow, and then again it will flow to the commutator, then again through the brushes, and like this it will complete the circuit. So always in an electric circuit, current will flow only if it is a closed circuit. Closed circuit means starting point will be there when the current starts, and finishing point will be there, that is it has to reach this point, then only that circuit is completed. That is what you call it as closed circuit. Okay, so in the case of DC generator, you got electrical output, whereas in the case of a motor, you are giving an electrical input and thereby obtaining a mechanical output. Okay, now just go through this one. That is when the motor is connected to the DC supply, a direct current, that is very important. That is, it is a DC that which we are giving. So direct current flows through the brushes, then to the commutator and to the armature winding. Okay, so now here something is happening. That is what we will discuss in detail. That is, while it passes through the commutator, it is converted into AC. It is very important. In the case of DC generators, we learned that inside the machine, it is the alternating current that is generated, but commutator converts from AC to DC before it is given to the load, right? Whereas here we are giving a DC, and this DC is converted into AC within the machine by the commutator. So we need an alternating current inside the machine. Why? That we will see. So for the time being, you have to keep in mind that it is a commutator. That is the role of the commutator in the DC motor is to convert DC to AC. So the reason is that when this DC is converted into AC within the machine, some of the conductors, that is all the conductors will not be coming under one pole, right? So the conductors which are coming under north pole will have direction of current in one way, and the other conductors which are coming under the south pole will have direction of current reversed. So that is very important in generating a unidirectional torque that we will discuss. Just see here. This is actually the cross-sectional view of a DC motor. Now here you can see how many poles are there. You can see here there are 4 poles: north, south, north, south. Okay, so these are the poles. And what is this? You call it as pole shoes. And here you can see the conductors. It is field winding conductors. That is very important. These are the field winding conductors. Now where is the armature? You can see the armature here. And here also you can see the armature conductors. See, armature conductors are placed in slots. Now let us consider all these conductors from here to here. You can see that all these conductors are coming under south pole. And see the direction of the current in these conductors, it is cross. Okay. Same way, consider all these conductors. These are also coming under south pole, and see the direction here also, it is cross. Okay. Now whereas when we consider the conductors which are coming under the north pole here, you can see that the direction is not the same, right? What is the direction? Here the direction is dot. That means the current is leaving the conductor, whereas here the current is entering into the conductor. Okay, so now what is exactly what is the meaning of this? If what is the advantage if the direction of the current is reversed? That is what is given by Fleming's left-hand rule, right? So when the direction of the current is reversed means the force will be reversed. So these conductors, here you can see the direction of the force. That is, here the direction of the force is like this. I will use another color. See here the direction of the force is like this here. Okay. Here it is like this. So how do you get this direction of the force? Based on Fleming's left-hand rule. Now here you can see the direction of force is like this. Here it is like this. So why this direction of force is coming like this? Because of the change in the, or the reversal in the current. So basically you can see that the force is acting in a clockwise direction like this, right? So since the force is acting like this, what is the result? The armature will rotate. This is what we want. That is, there will be a mechanical motion. So in order to generate a unidirectional torque, you need a force which has to act in this direction. Then only the machine will rotate. Okay. So in order to get a unidirectional torque, the force has to act like this. Now how this force will act like this? Because of the current direction, right? If it is DC, what will happen? If the current is DC, means all the conductors will be having only one polarity for the current, right? In that case, what will happen? The force will be acting sometimes like this force will act. That is like a pulsating torque. That means it will not generate any mechanical motion. For generating a mechanical motion, you need a unidirectional torque, and this unidirectional torque can be generated only if the direction of the current in the armature conductors reverse when it passes from one pole to the other. That is, when it is under north pole, the direction will be in one direction, and when the conductor switch on to the, or when it moves on to the influence of the south pole, the direction of the current will reverse, and the result is you can get a unidirectional torque. Okay, so this is actually the working principle of DC motor. Now we will understand this commutator action in a motor in detail. That is how this commutator is converting this DC current into AC current. Okay, that we will see. So we will take three positions for the conductors and then we will analyze. Okay. Now here let's take this first figure. So what do you understand from this figure? Here you can see the main poles. That is, this is one pole and this is the other one. Okay, and these are the field windings, and this is our armature conductor. We are considering just one coil in order to make in order to get a better understanding. Just consider one coil. So one coil means it will be something like this. Okay, so each coil has got two coil sides which you call it as conductors. Now this first conductor, I have shown it by red color, and this is connected to this commutator segment A, and it is connected to this brush. Okay, and here you can see a positive. That means you are giving an electrical input from here. You are giving some electrical input from here. One very important thing, you should not, one second. Okay, so you are giving an electrical input here. So from the positive terminal, okay, the current is entering into the brush, right? From the brush, it will move to commutator segment, and from here you can see the direction. It is flowing where? It is flowing to the conductor 1, right? And here we have the conductor 2. Here you can see the conductor 2. And this conductor 2, it's connected to the commutator segment B. This is B. And this commutator segment is also connected to the brush, and you know the brushes are fixed. So basically the electrical input is given between the two brushes. Okay. Now the current which is coming from the positive terminal of the battery, it will come to this brush, go to the commutator, then go to this conductor, and this conductor 1 and 2 are connected. Internally they are connected, right? So from the conductor 2C, the current is flowing out. That is why it is shown by dot. Okay, then from the conductor 2, it will go to the commutator segment B, then back to brush, and it completes the circuit. This already you have learned this. So this is how it works in position 1. So in position 1, if you see the conductor 1, if you see the current direction is like this, and conductor 2, the direction is like this. Brushes are fixed, that you have to keep in mind. But when you move the conductor, what happens? Commutator segment will also move. That is, suppose if I am moving this conductor to this position, what happens is commutator segment will also move. So that we will see in the next diagram. Now see here, previously my conductor 1 was here, I moved it to this position. Conductor 2 was here, I moved to this position. What about the commutator segment? Now the commutator segment also moved along with it. You can just compare with the previous figure. Okay, so when the conductor 1 is coming to this position, the commutator segment will reach this position. So now what is the difference? Brushes, see the brushes? Now there is no contact between the commutator segment and the brushes because brushes are fixed. So that means current, in the case of generator, we are taking current from the brushes, whereas in the case of a DC motor, we are giving current through the brushes. So now here, since there is no contact between the brushes and the commutator, no current. That is why here you can see there is no dot, no cross. That means no current is flowing in this position. So previously if we see, there was a current flow through the conductors A and B, right? One through the conductor 1, current was entering, and through the conductor 2, the current was leaving. Okay. Now we will see how this is reversed. So that is the function of the commutator. Now this has to reverse because previously if you see here, the conductor 1 was under the influence of south pole. Okay, now when it moves and when it comes here, it will come under the influence of north pole. So what will happen that time? That we will see. That is actually shown in this position. See here, now the conductor 1 is coming under the influence of north pole, and the conductor 2, it is coming under the influence of the south pole. What about the commutator? Commutator also, see, the commutator A reached here now. Commutator A is connected to conductor 1, right? And what about the commutator B? Commutator B is connected to conductor 2. It also changed the position. Okay. Now, can you tell me what is the change which you notice here? See the direction of the current in 1. Now the current direction in 1 is like this. It is leaving the conductor. Whereas if you see the current direction of conductor 2, it is entering into the conductor. Entirely it is reversed. The direction of current through the armature conductors got reversed. Why? Because now previously one was under the influence of south pole, right? Previously one was under the influence of south pole, but now it is changed to north pole. That is why the direction of current is changed. Now what is the use of this change in the direction of the current? It will ensure that a unidirectional torque. See here the force acting. The force is acting in the clockwise direction. So since the force is acting in the same direction, this force into distance, that is force into the distance moved by the conductor, will give the torque. So this is how you get a very important thing, that is unidirectional torque. Unidirectional torque. So whenever we are learning about motor, the most important terms which we learn is speed and torque. Okay, speed and torque. So what is torque? Torque is force into distance. Okay. So so I hope you understood. So this gives some idea about the working principle of a DC motor. So you just go through the three diagrams. Just try to draw it and see how that direction of current is changing. Okay. This is the cross-sectional view, and this is actually a symbol diagram. Okay. So hope it is clear for you. Okay.